Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to week 3. So today is Thursday, and it's so close to the weekend. I'm so happy that we've made it this far, and I'm so excited to know all of the goals that you have achieved for this week. How many words have you read for the week? Are you on track to becoming a word master? Are you on track to becoming a royal reader? Remember, I have a challenge that if you meet royal reader, you can vote and decide my hair color. So do you want a pink, purple, blue, red? I think those are the only colors that I found so far that are vegan, of course. So yeah, if you're a royal reader, you can vote. So you're going to have until April the 30th to become a royal reader. Once you become a royal reader, I'm going to send you an invite so that you can vote. And I will show you here how it comes out. So I will be dyeing my hair by then, and then I'll show you how it looks. So for everybody else, what are your goals? Is it for math? Is it to become a math genius? Are you close? For word masters, either for CSI or for 4th grade word masters, how many more words do you need? Are you doing Mayan? Remember, Mayan is completely free. You can just log on, and you can have a book, any book that you want. Do you have a chapter book that you're reading? So what are you doing to complete those goals? So I want to know, so send me a message or comment below and tell me, what are you doing to meet your goals for reading, for writing, for math, for whatever it is. So let's go ahead and get started with today's lesson. So today is Thursday, and let's pull up our calendar. So let's go. Whoop. All right, boys and girls, so it is Thursday, and we are here. So today is the 16th of April, and we're going to be doing lesson 6.5. So I'm going to put this one to the side. Oh, and I forgot my shout out. So let me do my shout outs. So I had to come back because I forgot to do my shout outs. But today's shout out goes to Shelby, Emiliano, Diego, Ian, Emanuele, Anthony, Christian Lopez, Michael, Isabella, both Isabellas, and Eddie. So good job, boys and girls, on doing your work every single day. You are doing fantastic. Everyone is doing an amazing job. Remember, I'm going to start doing shout outs little by little. Okay, so now we can continue with today's work. So let's go. Okay, so you should be on page 53. And it's Thursday, April the 16th. And I want you to put here, this is lesson 6.5. So this is how you're going to see it on your independent or exit ticket tracker. So let's flip the page, and we're going to start on page 54. So here I don't have any titles to send them the title. I don't have any subheading or headings. Do you see any printed or graphic features, any underlined words, any bold print? We don't. Do you see any illustrations or photographs? We don't. So we're going to start by putting our genre here in the top. And just by looking at it, I see a whistle, an old 98. So I think it's going to be talking maybe about a car because it's telling me a date of the car, the steam engine, the services, diesel, and all of this Mount Pleasant. So we have a setting. So boys and girls, based on everything that we just kind of scanned through, what do you think is the genre of this? It is informational, right? Because we can prove this place, Mount Pleasant. We could prove the year. And we could also prove the steam engine. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I already parked my pen or highlighter, whatever you're using. And we're going to start on paragraph 1. Remember, we cannot do BME. We have to do a hashtag in every single paragraph. So let's start with paragraph 1 or section 1. A long whistle echoes across the river. What's coming? It's 98. Old 98. It's a turn of the century steam engine. It makes a weekend run between Mount Pleasant and Rolling Hills. So first of all, who, what, when, where, why, and how. So first of all, I see that there's a whistle, across the river. And they're asking, what's coming? Look at that little question mark. and they're saying it's old 98. What is old 98? And then look what the author does. They actually give you the answer. Old 98 is, I want you to circle the word is. So what is old 98? It's the turn of the century steam engine. It makes a weekend run between, so it's between Mount Pleasant and Rolling Hills. So I wanted to show you what a steam engine was. So this is a steam engine, and it was used more than anything for trains. So before the steam engine, what they would do is they would use water, horses to make power, kind of like to get things moving, so it's really hard. So when the steam engine was invented, it really helped. So that's why it's saying it took a turn of the century. That means things got better, kind of like technology, like an iPhone. It gets better every single year. So it takes a turn in history, and it helps make things better. So let's see. So far I have underlined or highlighted that it's a whistle across the river. And an old 98 is a turn of the century. That means it made things better. And we're talking about the steam engine. And it makes a weekend run between Mount Pleasant and Rolling Hills. So boys and girls, what is it talking about? Already start inferencing that it's talking about a train, right? So here we're going to put hashtag steam engine. And we can put the routes because that's where it goes through, or we could just put steam engine. So let's see if our inferencing is correct, because we know that it's mostly used on trains. So let's see. Section 2 or paragraph 2. This huge steam engine is named after the year it was built. Oh, so we got the name from the year it was built. So it was named after the year it was built. So they built it. The engine weighs over 100 tons. That's a lot. Attached to its coal car, they reach 70 feet in length. So a coal car. What are the cars attached to? They're attached to a train, right? It's 70 feet in length. So I'm going to underline that. It's in a coal car. It's attached, to a coal car, and it's 70 feet in length. The engine stands 14 feet high, so that's from the bottom, maybe all the way to the top of your house before you get to the outside. So that's around 14 feet. Maybe if you have a higher house, if you have a 2-story house, it won't be 14, it'll be more than that, but maybe half of that. So it's 14 feet high at the top of its smokestack. So let's see. We underlined that it's named after the year it was built. It weighs over 100 tons. It's attached to a coal car. It's 70 feet in length, 14 feet high, and the top of a smokestack. So what is this section doing? It's doing what? Describing, right? So hashtag describing. You can also put hashtag information or giving more information. That's okay, because based on what we underlined or highlighted, yes, those would be acceptable. Paragraph 3 or section 3. Old 98 was in service from 1899 until the late 1950s all across the state. So that means it was working from 1899 until the 1950s across the state. The solid black steam engine shuttled freight cars back and forth between Smithson and San Alfredo in the early part of the 1900s. Okay, so what is something that it was used for? It would shuttle, that means it would take, freight cars back and forth between Smithson and San Alfredo. During the 20s, Old 98 served on the rail lines between Smithton and Longtree. Look what it said. It served on the rail line. And what do we call where the trains cross? A railroad, right? You know those things where they cross, it's called a railroad. Or sometimes when you see things that come down, little warning signs, they're called, or railroad crossing, So you'll see them there. So it says rail line. So far our inference is correct. The last years of service had the engine transporting passengers between Smithton and nearby Fort David. So look what it also was used for. It would transport passengers. Okay, so let's see what we highlighted. So it was in service from 1899 to 1950s across the state, and it shuttled freight cars between Smithton and San Alfredo, and it served the rail lines, and it transported passengers. So this section is giving me the what it was used for, right? So I'm going to put hashtag used or the uses. You can put the uses or use for what they used for. I'm just going to put hashtag uses. Paragraph 4. With new and more efficient diesel engines in use, Old 98 was retired from service in the last part of 1959. So what do they mean by retired? That means that they stopped using it when? In 1959. Why did they do that though? Because they did what? More efficient diesel engines. So that means kind of like a phone. They got a better phone, and then they stopped or they retired those old iPhones or those old steam engines. Neglected and rusting, the engine sat on the sidetrack at the Ford train yard until 1985. Look what it said. It was neglected. So that means that they take care of it? No, right? They retired it and just kind of left it like somewhere there in the corner. They no longer need it because something better came out. You know when you get a new phone or pen or whatever, you kind of put this one to the side because you don't really want to use it anymore because you want the new one. It's the same thing. That's what they did. And it was rusting. So it was rusting until 1985. So look, they retired in 1959 and it was there until 1985. So that was a couple of years, more than a couple, just sitting there. A group of train collectors interested in preserving steam engines that once traveled up and down the road across the United States got together and bought Old 98. So what did they do? Train collectors, what about them? They traveled and they were interested in preserving the steam engines. What does it mean by interested? That means that they wanted to save or preserve the steam engines. So they bought Old 98. That's the name of the train, right? They spent 5 years restoring the engine. Oh, so they were trying to restore the engine. What does it mean by restore? That means to make it work again, right? Old 98 was ready to run again in 1990. Oh, so they actually did do it, and it was ready to run again in 1990. So let's see what we underline. We put more efficient diesel engines. So Old 98 was retired in 1959. It was neglected and rusting until 1985. And then some train collectors were interested in preserving the steam engines. So what did they do? They bought Old 98, and they restored it, the Old 98, and ran again in 1990. So hashtag, what did they do in this section? So they retired, and then, so hashtag retired and was used again. Because remember, they restored it. That means they put it to work again. And it was running in or by 1990. And section 5. Moved to its present site, Old 98 makes a weekend run between Mount Pleasant and Rolling Hills. Oh, so it's still working, boys and girls. So on the weekend, it runs between, and then they tell me the two places, Mount Pleasant and Rolling Hills. Wait, isn't this where in the beginning where it was? Yes, right. So it's still in the same location. Accompanied by a coal car, 5 passenger cars, and a caboose, the train makes a 60-mile journey in a couple of hours. So boys and girls, was our inference correct? Yes, right? So let's go ahead and underline that. It's accompanied by a coal car, 5 passenger cars, a caboose. Remember when I would assign a caboose leader, that means the front or the back of the line. It means the back, right? So the train does what? It takes a journey in a couple of hours, so it's still working. Passengers board the train in Mount Pleasant and ride to Rolling Hills. So passengers, I'm going to put here ride. So we're only going to highlight the passengers ride. They exit the train and enjoy many restaurants, antique stores, gift shops, and stores that dot the town. So when they exit the train, what do? They enjoy the restaurants, the antique stores, the gift shops, and the stores that are in town. So let's see. Let's go see what we highlighted or underlined. So in the weekend run between Mount Pleasant and Rolling Hills, it's accompanied by a coal car, 5 passenger cars. 5 passenger cars mean that's where the passengers are going to go. A caboose, and then the train makes a journey within a couple of hours. The passengers then ride, and then they exit the train to enjoy the restaurants, antique stores, gift shops, stores, and town. So this whole section was telling me what Old 98 does, right? So we can do hashtag what new Old 98 uses. So this is the name of the train. So I'm saying the new uses. What do they use it for now? They still kind of like do the same thing as before, but now it takes the passengers and rides them. So it was retired, it stopped working, it was rusting, then they fixed it, and now it's doing a job again. And what is it doing? It's doing new uses. So it's working, and people are still traveling to and through. So let's see. Now we're ready for our question. So it says, read the first sentence and the summary below, then answer the question that follows. Summary. Old 98 is an old engine steam. So I know this is about a who or a what. I know it's about a what. So this one already tells me my what. All I need to do is to complete the summary. So what about it? So I'm going to write here, what about it? Remember, when it's an informational, I use MISD. Main idea supporting details. So which sentence is best finishes a summary of the passage? So do they want to know of a section, or do they want to know the whole story? They want to know the whole story. So let's see. I have that the old 98 is an old steam engine, and that is true. Let's go with F. The old engine travels between Mount Pleasant and Rolling Hills every weekend. Well, let's see. Let's go to our sections. So that is true. It does make the weekend run between Mount Pleasant and Rolling Hills. Okay, so that one is true. People ride the train. That is also true in section 5. It told me that people get on the train. They go between the 2 towns in about 2 hours. According to my section, it never told me how long it took. It says that the 60-mile journey in a couple of hours, but let me see. The people get out and go shopping in 2 towns. So do they go shopping into 2 towns? It says that the passengers board the train in Mount Pleasant and ride to Rolling Hills. So do they go shopping to 2 towns? No, they only go shopping where? To Rolling Hills. So this, that they go shopping to 2 towns, it's not true. It only takes them to 1. It can't take them 2 places at the same time. So F is out. It told me 3 true things about the what, but this one was not true. Let's go with G. The engine uses water to make steam. Does the engine use water to make steam? Did the selection tell me anything about that? It never told me that it uses water to make steam. So let's see, just to make sure that that might not be our answer. The steam makes the engine run. Okay, well, I don't remember that the selection told me that the steam makes the engine run, but let me continue reading that answer choice. The engine can move people up and down the tracks. So it does have them, it allows the people to travel. I don't know if it allows the people up and down the tracks. And the last sentence says coal is used in the engine. Well, did it tell me anything about coal being used in the engine? So this one, as you can tell, it's definitely out. Let's go to H. So on H it says the old 98 is an old engine, old steam engine. The engine was built in 1998 and was used to move people all around the state. Well, let me see. Yes, it was built in old 1899.
So it says the engine was built in 1898 and it was used to move people all around the state. So if I go to section 2 and section 1, yes, it kept telling me that's where they got, the old 98, and it was done in old 98 and it was in service from 1899 and it was a year after it was done. So yes. Let's see the next sentence. Old 98 was taken out of service years later. Well, according to section 4, yes. Remember, they retired it. So this sentence is also correct. Some people bought the engine and made it look new. Yes, remember in section 4, when they bought it back and it was neglected, so what they did is they restored it. That means they gave new parts to it, they fixed it up. So that is also correct. That is something very important that happened. And then the train is now moving people from place to place again. Well, according to section 5, remember, it's moving people from one section to another. It's between Mount Pleasant and Rolling Hills. So boys and girls, does this complete our what about it? So this one is a maybe. And let's go to J. The old engine is long and heavy. So according to section 2, it did tell us that it was over 100 tons. So yes, that is true. Do you think that's very important? We'll see. It weighs many tons and is 70 feet long and is attached to the coal car. So it's telling us again that it's weight. So that is 2 times that it's been telling us about weight, that it's heavy. So do you think that is very important? It's important, but how can we apply that to the selection? It's 100 tons heavy. How can we apply that? Well, right now we don't know. The engine also has a smokestack. And the last sentence, this makes the engine 14 feet tall. So yes, it's tall, but this one is just saying what? This one's just describing the train. So do you think this completes my what about the steam engine? No, right? It doesn't give the details. So my correct answer is H. So for today, boys and girls, you're going to do the independent and the exit ticket. So flip the page over. You're going to do page 55, number 1. So 55, number 1. And page 56. And then you're going to answer the question that is on 57. So you only have 2 questions today. Number 1 and number 2, page 55, 56, and 57. 2 questions. That is it for today. Make sure that you're reading and testing daily. And we will be back tomorrow. Bye.